Hi again. So where are we today? Okay, well, we've spent quite a long time doing some research and trying to find somewhere where we can stay for the week and be as close to the water as we can get, really, so we can straight on the water with the boards, away we go. So let me just show you this. So we've come to Cornwall, to a place called Pont, not far from Fowey, just across the harbour from Fowey. And if we have a look at this, all the way up here, up on top of here. Oh. Now when I say we're close to the water, we're really close to the water. So there you go. That's where we're staying, in Moon Cottage. And this is where we're launching from. What do you think of that then? It's not too bad, is it? And we've got a creek here that's about 1.5 miles long. It goes all the way down to the harbour. We're going to have a paddle down there today because it's not too windy. It's actually not a bad day. Anyway, we're all pumped up. Let's go. And I'm on. Great stuff. Oh. What an amazing place this is. We got swans, we got a bridge, we've got a lime kiln up there from sort of round about the 1800s. But interestingly, this place, there was a little guy in 600 AD, and he was martyred because he fell out with some people. He was a hermit that lived here, and he fell out with some people and they chopped his head off. And the reason he's a saint is because apparently he picked up his head and he carried it to the bridge, so they made him into a saint, which is nice. Also, like I say, in sort of, well, in the 1600s, this place was used for victualling ships. So they used to come all the way down from Fowey Harbour and fill up with fresh water and stuff to eat, meat and bits and bobs, and they would pick up the lime from the lime kilns and take that away as well. It was also used in the Second World War along here for refurbishing and maintaining and keeping good motor torpedo boats, because apparently they could hide them under the trees, under the tree line, so they couldn't be seen from the air when German spotting planes came over. So there's loads to it, but I mean, look at this. Isn't this fantastic? It's pretty much, well, it's just gone high tide now. When the tide comes right up, on a really high tide, it goes right the way across to the house actually and floods that bit. You can't put your car there in case it ends up to the doors in water. But let's go have an explore. The thing with a place like this is you've got to keep an eye on the tides. So it just so happens that this week it's been really early and really late when it's been high tide. Other than that, sort of from that corner up there right the way back to the house is empty, and really empty. There's just a tiny trickle of water coming down from the river. So we're having to time it really for when there's water there. But there you go. It's worth getting up early or finishing late. So we've got a north-westerly wind today, so I'm expecting to go around this corner and get a bit of a blast in the face, but we'll see. Nah, it's not too bad. So that right in front of us, all those houses, the white houses, that's Fowey, on the other side of Fowey Harbour, with lots of little boats all parked in front of it, moored in front of it, I think they call it. And it's just starting to rain. Never mind, it's worth it. It's raining all right. Yep. There's a really good walkway all the way along there, path right the way along the top of these trees, and you can look down on all the boats in the harbour. It's just beautiful. So we've got oysters and mussels and stuff all living along here, which is dead interesting, isn't it? Quite like that. It's funny, we normally, because we live 70 miles from the sea, most of our paddle boarding is done on inland waters. So generally it's either a fast flowing river like the Wye, or it's canals and slow stuff like the Avon or bits of the Severn. So we don't often look down and see seaweed. Normally we save the kayak for that, because we use the kayak on the sea doing coastal exploring, and we do inland, and I suppose this is technically inland on the paddleboard, even though it's seawater. Now also, another historic fact for you is just on top of here, during the English Civil War, Charles I was standing up there next to a fisherman, and they were looking out at Cromwell's forces on the other side at Fowey, and somebody from over the other side spotted the king and fired a cannonball across, and it just missed the king, King Charles I, and killed the fisherman. I bet he was chuffed to bits about that. Both of them. But then obviously King Charles lost his head a couple of years later. There's a cave. It's got our smugglers in it, that one. If you want smugglers, come to Cornwall. So this is Fowey Harbour. So that's the sea down there between Ruin and Fowey. There used to be a chain went across there between two castles. You can see the blockhouse on this side for the castle. There used to be a chain went across there to stop the Dutch fleet getting in. So Ruin over there, it's quite an interesting place actually. It was known for shipbuilding in the sort of 1300s, 1400s. In the 1400s they made ships for the king, 4 or 5 of them I believe. But there was also a pirate ship got stopped and intercepted. Now that was in 1450, and it had 200 men armed on this pirate ship, so that was a big ship. And that was 100 years before the Mary Rose, so that was a big ship. Oh, we've got a harbour patrolman next to us. I think you might want to check our sticker. We've had to buy a sticker, £20 per craft per year for Fowey Harbour, which seems a bit steep, bearing in mind it's tidal water and you don't normally have to pay for tidal water. But so far nobody's wanted to check it, which we're a little bit miffed about. So Zebedee in his harbour patrol boat, I'm hoping he's just looked across, seeing that we've got a little sticker at the back, and said, "Ah, they'll be fine," rather than just ignoring it. Still, I personally think it's worth the money because I love the place. It's quite nice being here when everybody else is at work, isn't it? So we've got the lifeboat over there, and a lovely square rigged schooner. I like that, it's nice. And the ferry going across, that's a car ferry goes across there from Bodinick on this side to Fowey on that side. Ferry side, that's a really interesting looking house, isn't it? Looks like it's got a figurehead on the side of it. Love it though. Just going to go across and get out of the way of the car ferry. We don't really want to get in the way of that. Marvellous. Now the thing this place is famous for is China clay. In Cornwall there's a massive great big quarry of China clay, and it gets shipped all over the world for the best china to be made all over the world. And that great big ship is filling up with China clay. Maximum 6 knots. Well, we won't be going over that. We do about 3. So you can definitely feel the tide going out now. You can see it going by. So that's a couple of very rusty old pontoons there. They look like they're ages old. So that is the Eleanor of Rotterdam. So it's Dutch. At least we know. You seen a kingfisher? Is it just sitting there? Tide's gone a long way out, hasn't it? You can see how far the tide's gone out, because when it comes up it just kisses the bottoms of the trees. You can see a big long line there now, about what, 3 foot? So I'm thinking these are probably pilot boats, these big red ones in the distance here, like tugs. Probably brought things like that in to tie up onto these docks to take all their China clay stuff. There's actually a little railway that goes all the way through and connects up with the main line as well. So I suppose that's where all the clay comes, down on the railway, and then goes onto the boats and goes all over the place. Thank you. Yeah, just don't put it on the back, will you? Alright. It's hard enough as it is. It's quite water skiing, but thank you. What a cracking morning for what you're doing. Yeah, it's lovely. It's a lovely morning. This afternoon's not looking so good though. It's that time of year. Oh, yeah, that's it. Definitely. Right, we've been out for nearly an hour. That's alright. Well, it won't be low tide until sort of midday, so we've got ages to turn around and go back, and we're going to be blown back, to be honest, aren't we, because we're into wind. Yeah, but don't forget the wind is actually getting up at about 10. Yeah, that's true, but it's staying in the same direction, so we'll be water skiing going back. It's 30 odd mile, you know, 30 mile an hour wind. Gusts. Yeah. Yeah, but it'd be a right laugh. I don't particularly want to be on, you know, for too long. No, that's true. Look at the state of this one, look. That looks a bit like the boat that he had in Forrest Gump. The shrimp boat. What's it called? It's called Alice Milford. Blimey, that is falling to pieces, isn't it? Wonder if anybody lives on it. Well, we've certainly got the sun out again, which is lovely. That's not a bad view back there. Lovely clear water. So in front of us, going further up there, is Lostwithiel, which is the town at the top of the Fowey. That's the last big sort of town of the river, really, going north. We seem to be paddling against a bit of a tide now. I know, I'm not moving. No. Yeah, I think it might be time to turn around. Also, we don't want to be timing it wrong, so when we get back to the cottage again, there's no water, because we might have to walk the last half a mile, and I don't really fancy that. So I think it's probably time to turn around. Ah, fantastic though. What a great place to come. You need to come here. Oh, you can see all the railway along there now. Yeah, we're definitely coming back here. This is one of those places we're going to come back to. Wonderful. Now that is a nice boat. That's a big dock, isn't it? Huge. HM Customs, private, strictly no mooring. Won't go there then. And we're back home again, and it looks like to get out I'll be better off going through the bridge. just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. What a perfect place to come to.